Welcome to all of you out there, dear astrology lovers, dear astrology friends. This is a video with me, Veerle, and it's all about the full moon in Scorpio. That is going to happen around and about the 12th of May of 2025. So it's a very easy one to explain. So let's get into this. And I'm going to explain what the energy is all about in general, as a collective, you could say. And then we're going to have a look at each and every sign of the 12 signs, where this energy is falling in your chart, because that's going to be significant, where this energy will unfold and show itself. So, full moons, as always, around this time of the year, we're having a full moon in Scorpio. So, it will be at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So, that's the position of the moon. And it's going to oppose the sun at 22 degrees of its opposite sign, which is Taurus. That's what we call a full moon. The moon opposes the sun. It's always a time, a full moon in itself is always a time of things becoming conscious, things becoming visible, becoming known, and of culminations of energy. Like you could say, if you do something and you work very hard for something, and then the results you will see around the full moon, so to speak. Now, as I said, we have always around this time of the year full moon in Scorpio. What is this all about? Well, full moons in Scorpio. Scorpio is associated with the 8th house in astrology. That is the most transformational full moon that we have in the year, because Scorpio represents death and rebirth. So it represents that transformation. It presents that letting go of something in order for something new to start. But the letting go, Scorpio is a fixed sign, is not the easiest. So therefore, it demands the loss of something, the loss of control, the loss of manipulation, the loss of not wanting to attach yourself to the outcome. Actually, that's what Scorpio is all about. It's about things that happen, and it's about your passions, and it's about your emotions and what you want on a deep level, but without an attachment to it, so that you can attract it in a magnetic way, in a very yin way. Don't forget that Scorpio is a feminine sign. So what is, in general, what does it mean? It means that we're gonna see things unraveling and coming to its peak, so to speak, but also the things that are hidden, the things that are not seen, can come to the surface now. And it's also, what Scorpio is all about. It's about unraveling the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and showing it to the surface. And specifically when it's a bit of taboo, and when it's hidden, and when, then all of this stuff comes up. And you know that it is very powerful. Why? Because when we tend to, and it can be something very tangible that we want to hide, but it can also be something non-tangible. For instance, if you want to hide that you are in love with someone, for instance, or you want to hide that you are selling your house for some reason, you want to hide a love relationship, you want to hide something, it costs energy. And so the transformation is when we let go of that, and that we get to the reality and to the rawness, because this is an opposition to the sun in Taurus, which is all about, raw reality, so to speak, no nonsense kind of sign. And it's also about value, the axis of the second and the 8th house. So Scorpio, the 8th house, Taurus, the 2nd house. It's all about value. It's all about, what do you value? What do others value? And the opposition of that. So we are going to see things coming out in the open, being revealed. That has to do with secrecy, that has to do with putting things under the surface. Whether it is, for instance, that we want to not show that we want to change jobs, and now is the time that it reveals itself. But whatever it is, this is to transform. This is not for the universe being annoying to you or anything. It's about let's move on. It's always like let's move on. That kind of energy. Now, it is a very intense energy, but we have two aspects that are so important here. We have an aspect with Uranus, with Caput Algol, and with Saturn. Three aspects that are very important. Let me explain. So the Sun at 22 degrees of Taurus, guess who's there? Very close to it at 26 degrees of Taurus. Yes, it's Uranus. So we have what we call in astrology a moon opposite Uranus as well. And at the very end of Taurus, the very last degrees of Taurus, some say 26 degrees, 29 degrees, the last degrees of Taurus, we have there a fixed star called Caput Algol, which is that, you can look it up, the myth of Caput Algol, but in a nutshell, it's about losing one's head. It's about, not knowing anymore what's going on, and we lose one's head. Mix that with Uranus, it makes it very volatile. It makes it very, very, you could say, exciting in a positive way, unsettling in a challenging way. Now, normally I would say, if there would not be another aspect supporting this, I would say, wow, this is going to be times where secrets are going to be revealed, and we're all going to feel very much that we don't have any ground under our feet, so to speak. But the good news is that we do have a very supportive Saturn energy that is trining this full moon in Pisces. So Saturn and Pisces, Saturn will be around at about 28 degrees of Pisces. So that's trining beautiful, that moon at 22 degrees of Scorpio. And Saturn always is about grounding, always is about, I've got your back, there is support, keep the feet on the ground. Yes, there's a lot of things going on around you or with other people, because an opposition tends to be other people that are involved. But hey, stay with the feet on the ground. We have that supportive trine to Saturn, which is pretty good. So how to apply this energy, because this energy is not bad or good. It's neutral. How to apply it at its best? It's to be very open for change. It's to be very open for these changes that we have been suppressing for a long time, to let them unfold, so to speak. So to detach yourself from the outcome. And when you're going to do that, you are also going to not only being transformed towards stuff, people, energy around you that is better suiting to you, because we're talking here about Scorpio and we're talking about Uranus. Uranus is about freedom, and it's about, I want to change. I want to get out of a rut. I wanted to get over with in an instant. That's Uranus. It's like the lightning. So we've got this very scorpionic, deep, fixed emotional energy together with Uranus that is more about, I want to break free. And we are at a time around the 12th of May, because May in general is not a bad month at all. We have that beautiful trine of Venus and Mars throughout the whole month, which is very passionate, and there's a stability between giving and taking, but we also have something to let go of. And if we detach ourselves to the outcome, we can gain a lot of stability in the long run, that is. So this is not about taking shortcuts. This is not about, I want something quick. This is long-term energy. And this is definitely energy about, if there is something that is really annoying you for a long time, that you've been suppressing, that you've been not acknowledge, then this is coming up. And although it is really, moon opposite Uranus is, it is the aspect about detachment for sure. And I know a lot of people say that detachment of people, of something, is not good. But this is not about good or bad. This is about energy, and we do what we want to do with it. And we have a clue here and a key here towards creation. We make it what we make out of it. It's our choice, and whether you want it or not. I have a moon opposite Uranus in my natal chart. And I mean, you can really say, oh my goodness, it's so difficult, it's challenging. Or you can say, hey, this is my asset. This is something that I'm going to take into, you could say, as an advantage in my, it's how you look upon things, right? It's how you look upon things. And if we look about something very positive, that has to do with the moon Uranus, which is about independence, which is about detaching yourself emotionally from the outcome, because something that you are attaching yourself towards might not be good for you anymore at this particular time. This is the time. And the thing is, if you're going to do that detachment, what normally happens with moon opposite Uranus is like they feel so unsettled. But now you've got that beautiful trine to Saturn, moon trining Saturn. So that means that you feel stable. You feel with the feet on the ground. It's almost, it makes me think of calculated risk. I know it's an economical term, but it's like that moon opposite Uranus is, and with capital goal, it's like, oh, going over the top. But Saturn is like, yeah, I have a backup plan. I have security. So, and because I feel secure as well, I can do those things. I can detach myself from it. It's all easier said than done to detach yourself from something that you've been feeling very, very attached to, whether it is a relationship, a job, you name it. It is easier said than done. But now it's one of those times where it is possible. It's time to get towards honesty and independence, and it's time to, when moon opposite Uranus, because this is what it's all about, moon opposite Uranus aspect. When moon is opposite Uranus, there is a paradox between, you could say, independence, which is Uranus, and the moon, which is connections and belonging. And what often happens in these oppositions is that you pick or you choose one planet, but then the price you have to pay is the other planet. So that's not the best thing to do, but we're not going to do that because we have that trine to Saturn. So we have a very beautiful support system here, you could say. So, but what is it between the moon and the Uranus? It's about finding the balance between your independence and between, which is Uranus, and between the moon, which is connections. So it's staying connected, but at the same time, actually doing what you feel is right for you and being what you feel is right for you. And even saying, okay, if I will have to lose this or that, it is what it is, but it's about balancing this out, and at the same time not really having to choose between, like, your independence. If I choose for my independence, yes, I'm going for the job, but then I'll lose my family. No situations like that. Or if I choose for my family, then I let go of an opportunity for a new job in where or whatever. So it's about balancing these two out. And I think also, because we're in the midst in May with this beautiful trine between Venus and Mars, that we have support in those give and take energies as well. There is this very beautiful, the ruler of this moon is Mars, the ancient ruler that is, and Mars is at 11 degrees of Leo, where it's making a beautiful trine to Venus at about 8 degrees of Aries. So it's going to have that beautiful trine there. So a very exciting, to say the least, full moon for sure. But at the same time, one that we can welcome, and one that we can welcome because we feel safe and because we feel stable. It makes me think of yeah, I want to start a new business. I'm gonna start it now, or I'm gonna invest, or it's that Uranus that wants independence. I don't want to stay there in that job anymore, that 9 to 5 job that wrecks my soul. Not all 9 to 5 jobs are like that, by the way, but I'm just giving an example. But when I'm going to do that and it's not going to work, I have a backup plan, right? I have a backup plan, like my partner still works and they have a steady income and whatnot. You see, it's like that calculated risk, you could say. It's a very, very interesting energy to be in. And so be open for transformation, be open for independence, and at the same time connecting because this is very strong. If you have moon opposite Uranus, the strength of it is that it goes for honesty and it goes for their independence. And at the same time, it feels very connected to itself. So, and it's going to attract, anyways, people and situations that are going to match up with them. So, Uranus never takes away something that is not good for your evolutional growth. I've seen that plenty of times when people say, oh, Uranus comes along when you're having this in a transit, which makes it a bit longer than just this full moon. When you're having this in a transit, it's always like afterwards that people say, oh, it was so unsettling when that happened, but I'm so glad that it did happen. Whether it was, it's about big changes. It's about shifts, and it's about, especially if you feel stagnant, we had this energy of Venus conjunct Saturn, and a lot of people, that was like, and with the North Node there, so it's almost like, and with Venus there as well, it's almost like Venus with the North Node wants to break out and wants to do new stuff and grow and expand, and Venus Saturn says, no, it's not possible. So we all have been squeezed, so to speak, towards that we know how stuck we are at certain levels. And now is that opportunity to get unstuck. Now is that opportunity to build something in the long run as well. So let's get started. It's very easy to, it's actually what needs to go, let it go, basically. And Uranus, again, it takes away something that has been not necessarily bad in the past, because actually you cannot say that it is bad, because it was there to learn and to help you to grow, and your soul to learn and to develop. That is what Uranus is all about. It wants to give you insights. In insights, it wants to give you very much. Now, let's get into this. Where this moon, which is where the area of life that shows here, this whole energy of shift and transformation, where does it start? Where does it fall in your chart? So I'm going to do that very quickly, because this is not a video where you have to explain very complex stuff and all of that. This is very clear. What is the area of your life that you want to let go of resistance, and where you need some changes, so to speak? For Aries, this is the 8th house in itself. It's the Scorpio house, you could say. It's the house of death and rebirth. So for you, this is definitely about value. Something will become very, very clear about a value of other people versus your own value. Where the sun is, where Uranus is, that is your value, that is your confidence. And it's an opposition. So definitely a person will be important here, where you feel that kind of tension here. But all in all, the transformation lies within you, within how you kind of let go, so to speak, of you could say, that you find the value of other people very important, that you want outer You could say, oh yes, I need validation from others, to let go of that and to focus more on what is within you and your own values. It could also mean something becomes very clear when it comes to money that you share with someone else. So resources, there is something coming up here that is really, really revealing itself. Secrets that has to do with that or that you didn't know. Also about the relationship, the eighth house is the house of intimacy, the house of what we share with another person on a very deep level. So something could come up here that makes it very, very clear that you cannot do secrecy anymore from the secret stuff that you feel that you kind of push under the carpet, so to speak. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing, for sure. Now, so let it go. Let it go what needs to come up, and so that you can transform, for sure. Very deep energy for the Aries people. But remember, Venus is in your sign. It trines the ruler of this energy, right? Venus trines Mars, so you will be fine. Taurians, this is happening in the relationship sector. So specifically, if you have planet around 22 degrees of Taurus, you're going to feel this very strongly. So this is all about relationships. What is it that, with that Scorpio, the opposite sign of you, things can reveal itself now that were hidden from you. Whether it is, it's your seventh house. It's more those other people kind of, whether you are in a relationship. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be business partners. This could be an important person that you have an eye on, for instance. Something reveals here that was before hidden. And for better or for worse, remember that be open for that shift, be open for this transformation, because that is ultimately what is happening here. Your relationships are transforming and you are transforming. Remember, you have the sun with Uranus. So it's a lot about your individuality. It's a lot about change that you want ultimately. And that energetically almost kind of magnetically attracts that energy that things need to be revealed for you, for sure. Now, for someone who's single, this could mean a new relationship, and that there is now this beautiful energy of transformation and this new way of you doing relationships. Geminis, this moon is in your sixth house. So there is a full moon here in the sixth house of your day-to-day life, the day-to-day habits that you have, your health as well. So something that was before hidden is now coming out. It depends on your story. Maybe there was something about your job that you didn't know, and now it all becomes very clear to you. Or there was something about, maybe you had something like a problem with whatever it is when it comes to health, and now you see what the problem was all about. And that, of course, gives you a lot of power. If you are open to that, you can transform that. So it's a lot about things that reveal itself in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day, you could say your day-to-day work, your day-to-day life, your day-to-day routines, your lifestyle. There's something here that wants to change, and be aware of it, that you can get to a better lifestyle for sure. But the old needs to go. That is very clear here as well. Cancerians, this is happening, this full moon in Scorpio in your fifth house. And remember, Cancerians is Cancer is a water sign, Scorpio is a water sign as well. So this is, although there is some very unsettling energy, this is very good for your energy, because Scorpio and Cancer go very well with each other. And the fifth house is the house of love, romance, children, projects. So you could be doing here, something could really, a secret could unravel around relationships, around a romance, around a child as well. Transformation coming up here very quickly now, and shifts that are happening here. but also around projects, businesses. So if you want to invest and that has that calculated risk element, that could be the case as well, that you're doing some investment here and that you calculate very well your investments. And that is good for the long run. Remember, the Sun Uranus is in the 11th house. So this has to do with your goals for the future, and also friendships. So there could be something going on in that atmosphere, in that area as well. Leos, this is happening in your 4th house. Very important if you have planets around 22 degrees of Leo, because you're going to feel this tension very, very much. And the 4th house, where this moon is, and Taurus energy is in your 10th house, but the 4th house is where your moon is. That is about emotional security. And that is about your emotional attachments, you could say. Of course, the 4th house is also your home. So there could be things shifting there quickly and a bit unsettling, but for the longer term, that becomes clear now. So some of you will move, some of you will make shifts in the family, also connection with a parent. There could be something unsettling in the first place, but in the long run, stability coming here for you. But remember, this is all about the restoration, you could say, of the balance between also the life-work balance. It's a lot about that as well. So if you think like, oh, I'm working too much, there is, this is like restored in a way. Virgos, this is nice because it's a sextile energy. Scorpio is sextiling to Virgo, and it's happening in your 3rd house. So where Scorpio is, this full moon. So typically here could mean that because of news coming in, there is news that you didn't expect, that you didn't see coming, and that is very transformational for you, for better or for worse. Again, you probably for better, because this is sextiling your energy, and there is stability with Saturn there as well. So other people will help you out as well. But whatever it is, be open for this news, because it's transformative news. And it could also mean that you give something, you tell other people something, and that has a knock-on effect. And but the 3rd house is also short trips. So out of the blue, you could do a short trip, or there is something happening that is very out of the ordinary whilst you are traveling. Also, in your communication, you could be ending a website and starting a whole new one. That is for the long run, and someone helps you out. It can be that simple, this full moon here in your 3rd house. But whatever it is, it's a new way of gathering energy, gathering communication and information, and it's a new way of communicating. Librans, very important in the 2nd house. All that has to do with your money, your resources, but also your confidence, your talents, your assets. Your talent is an asset, right? Where you're good at. There is something here that reveals itself around your values, right? Because the 2nd house is what you value. And something becomes very clear here. And because it's in an opposition to the 8th house, where the Sun and Uranus is, probably a person will kind of be in the mixture of this. So it could be very much between that is what I value, that is what another person is valuing. And you see the truth of all of this now. So also when it comes to finances, things that were hidden in a way that are no longer good for you, and that you need to see the truth, and you need to be open here now in order for you to, in the long run, improve. This is definitely that energy. Scorpios, this is the whole intro that I was talking about is for you. And adding here, you could say that the spotlight is on you. It's about your needs and versus the needs of another person, because there is Sun, Uranus in your 7th house. So there's also a very independent energy around you at the same time. So you could be breaking up relationships, and you could be making relationships that go actually very, very quickly. So it depends on your story, right? If you say like, yeah, I have a very bad relationship, it's been toxic for a while, but I can't really detach myself from it, now can be the moment that you're doing this. And at the same time, if you're saying, yeah, I'm single, but To be honest, things come up now that I feel that my needs are very different than a couple of years ago or a couple of weeks or months ago. And I want to shift it now. And I'm seeing this person here that is really smiling at me. I'm going to go for it. You see, it's that kind of energy because you have that Saturn also, Saturn in Pisces, beautifully trining your energy. So a lot of what you're beginning now has energy for the long run. Sagittarians, this full moon is happening in your 12th house. So this is a house of the unconscious. This is like a light, you could say, or something become this is beautiful for people who are open for their blind spots. People who don't want to see their blind spots, it's not so nice. Right? And what do I mean by blind spots? It's those patterns that we have that are running through unconscious patterns. And because we have those unconscious patterns that we don't know of, we make choices that we're saying, why are we doing this? So with this full moon here, it's a revelation. It's like secrets come up of our own, how we kind of run from ourselves, and also what we could name as escapism. Things come really much to the surface, maybe in dreams as well, because the 12th house is where we dream and where we get to those other levels. So use this so you can really untackle this and let go of it for once and for all. And because it's about releasing, right? The 12th house is a release house. So a very good time for you to release addictions, to release stuff that is no longer working for you. And with the Sun and Uranus in the 6th, be open for new stuff that even when Uranus has been going through your 6th house for a while, but be open for new stuff when it comes to your work, your routines, your day-to-day life, your health, your lifestyle. Capricorns, this is happening in your 11th house, and Scorpio is a sextile to your energy, so that's pretty good. And that's nice energy for sure. So for you, this 11th house where this full moon is like secrets can come up that you didn't know of, considering friends or groups of people, associations that you are a part of. Again, for better or for worse, probably for better because of the sextile energy. And it's also the house of your aspirations, your goals for the future. Something becomes clear. Something that was hidden before is now coming clear. If you are self-employed, this is also a financial house. So something there becomes very clear that you didn't know before, or that is now coming to a culmination when it comes to you earning money. And it opposes the Sun and Uranus in the 5th house, which is the house of your individual creativity and also the house of risk taking. So, but that is in Taurus, that trines your energy. So calculated risks, taking that when you have your own business here is key, but definitely something that becomes very clear to you. Again, you could have like a realization of information coming through a friend, and that you say, oh my goodness, that was the missing piece, and of a friendship as well. It could be an ending of a friendship and a beginning of love, of a love affair, for instance, of love coming into your life very quickly and suddenly because of this energy here as well. Depending on your situation. But all in all, there is a shift in your aspirations. There is an opening up and a letting go of, definitely toxic friends. If you have some toxic friends, this is the time to let go of that and to release it. Aquarians, very important for you, specifically if you have planets around 22 degrees of Aquarius. This is happening at the top of your chart. So for many of you, this is career. And so something can come out that has to do with your career, that is culminating. Information around bosses, careers can be very, very relevant now and working in your favor, for better or for worse, but ultimately to get that restoration of the balance between work and home. Because this is the axis of The 10th house is your work, where the moon is. The sun and Uranus is in your 4th house, where your home and family is. Also with parents, there could be now things becoming very clear to you around the relationship with the parent. And because of that, you know how to move on and you know how to proceed. Very important. Also, if you say, like, this could be the moment where you're leaving a career, a certain career, because there, it was no longer suiting you. It felt a bit more toxic, you could say. And last but not least, Pisceans. And of course, the Scorpio energy is trining your energy. So you're going to get more of the positive vibes here of the Scorpio full moon. It's in your 9th house. So the 9th house is a house that has to do with a connection with the divine. Some call it God, some call it Allah, some call it nature, some call it universe. So you feel like something comes up that is really, really clear now for you. It has to do with your mindset as well. There could be like this click, this you seeing through something, you having that helicopter view and seeing the bigger picture. When we do that, even if we have difficult situations or good situations, it helps us because we know where we're heading. And of course, it's also travel and faraway places, schools and universities, and the things that we learn or the things that you teach. So there could be a culmination around that as well, that you really, really know where you're standing now when it comes to all these things. Also, when it comes to connections with people from abroad, it could be a culmination there as well. But whatever it is, this Sun Uranus in your 3rd house, the Taurian house that is sextiling your energy as well. This is where you want to have that independence and that novelty in the way that you are thinking on a day-to-day basis, and with learning new things very quickly that can help you with your independence. And so this is really on a very mental level happening, but very, you could say, where your belief system might become stronger here, which is a good thing for the rest of all your areas of life, so to speak. Because when you have a very strong belief and a confident belief, all the other areas of your life are going to flourish. Anyways, having said that, thank you so much for watching. Keep on watching, keep on liking and subscribing. And of course, if you want to order a reading, check out my link below. That is a link to my website. You have different readings that you're going to order there. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.